Ever get tired of day-to-day life? I do. Well, did. I decided to do something about it. Conventional wisdom says you go along until your parents die, and then you get your inheritance. That wasn't good enough for me. So one day I walked up to my dad and asked,
"Dad, give me my inheritance right now." That's what my youngest son said to me. "I want what's coming to me right now." All I could think was, "I'm going to give you what's coming to you." I brought him into this world, and I could take him right out and make another just like him. But he's my son, and I love him. So I gave him his money and said that if he could have a better life without me, so be it. He packed his bags, and the next thing I knew,
I was out of there. Kissed that boring place goodbye. I had places to go and people to see. First thing I did was...
my son got lost. He is no Magellan. He had to stop and ask for directions 4 times before he even made it out of our hometown.
You know what? It wasn't 4, it was 3. And one of them wasn't even my fault. I asked the man and I couldn't understand him. And besides that, the only reason I can't follow directions is because somebody never taught me how to.
Don't go there.
Okay, look. The point is, I got out of there, and I started to live it up. More friends than I knew what to do with. I ate like a king. I had the finest clothes, and the ladies. Well, what can I say about them?
I can say something about them. They were women, but they were not ladies.
Never mind. The thing was, life was good.
Until my son's money ran out. Around the same time, a recession hit our country.
There was no work to be found. I tried, I really did, but there just weren't any jobs. Eventually I found a job. It wasn't bad. It was actually a manager's position. It was an associate position, and
Try again.
I was a bacon preparation assistant.
Which means?
I fed pigs. I hated it. It didn't pay much. I didn't have enough money for a place to live. There were many days where I didn't even have enough money to eat. There were times I was so hungry that I gladly would have eaten the slops I was giving the pigs, but I couldn't. So, with hunger pains as a constant reminder of how I had squandered everything my father had given me, I lived in agony day after day.
After day after day, I'd watch and wait for my son to come home, and my heart would ache as only a parent's heart could for his own child. But hear me on this. I never gave up on him. I never gave up on him. I knew that it would happen one day.
One day, it hit me. One day I realized that the lowliest of my father's workers lived better than I did. At least they had a place to live and food to eat, and I didn't have either one of those things. So I wondered.
What if he never comes to his senses? What if he lets pride get in the way? No, I will see him again.
Again and again, these thoughts ran through my head as I began my journey back to my father's house. I knew what I would do. There's no way I would accept a handout, and there's no way he would take me back. So I'd ask him to hire me on as a worker. Maybe, just maybe he would do that.
Maybe today will be the day my son comes home. That's what I would say every morning as I would wake up. Maybe today will be the day that I see him off in the distance as he makes his way back home.
Home. That word means so many different things. Comfort, care, security, love, home. I couldn't believe I was just a few hundred yards away from it.
It was a beautiful day. I was sitting on my front porch, and that's when I saw him.
He stood up out of his chair and he looked in my direction. He squinted his eyes to get a better look at me. And then I began to wonder, what if he doesn't take me back? What if I get to him and he just looks at me and he says, "I told you so, I told you so.
I told you so." Some of you just roll your eyes every time I would mention my son. But I knew he would come back. I just knew.
I just knew this was a bad idea. I knew I shouldn't have done this, so I just stopped.
He just stood there.
I couldn't move.
I couldn't just stand there, so...
He jumped. My dad literally jumped off the porch. I'd never seen him do anything like that before. It was like he was this little kid who was excited about something. He was excited about me. So you know what I did next? I ran.
My heart was pounding so fast. I just had to.
I've never seen him run so fast. He was running at me with his arms outstretched as if to say, "Welcome home, welcome home."
Welcome home, welcome home. That's what I kept shouting to him. I didn't know if he could hear me, so I just kept shouting it over and over. All I wanted to do was just scoop him into my arms like I did when he was a little child. I just wanted to know I just wanted to let him know that everything was going to be okay. And as I got closer to him, I could see tears running down his face.
He was crying.
Tears of joy. And you know what my son did next?
I jumped. I was nervous. I was excited. And so I literally jumped. And you know what my father did?
Well, I fell backwards. He was a big boy.
And then he hugged me. He embraced me like only a father can. I kept saying over and over again, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't deserve to be called your son.
My son is back. Let's get him some clean clothes and give him a meal. No, a feast. For my son shall no longer live as an orphan, for all my hopes have come true.
I guess it was hope. It was hope that made me start that journey back home. Hope that got me through all the miles. Hope that my father would take me back and somehow I could be forgiven.
Forgiven, and I will never bring it up again. There is no shame. There is no guilt. For my son was lost, and now he is found.